Hello, everybody. For the last time, today is day 30 of National Poetry Month 2020. This has been a messed up ride. I have been through every spectrum of emotion in the past 30 days, possibly known to man. But I stuck to my guns and I read poetry for 30 days, and it felt really good. And I think it's one of the reasons why I'm feeling pretty sane at the moment. Uh, wow, where even to really begin? So tonight I'm gonna read my favorite poem. I've debated this because it's one of those poems where I've read it a million times in my head and I've studied it, and it's a glorious page poem. So I'll be sharing my screen so that you guys can see it. Although I might have to adjust the size. I know it's tough for you guys to read these on the U of Tube. So I'm sure I will polish it off with something quirky to say, but I really just wanted to say, if you've watched all these videos, thank you. If you are only watching this video, thank you. Just poetry, man. Do the thing. Do the poetry. I don't know. I'm just sitting here a little emotional tonight. I think tomorrow comes and I'm gonna want to read something else. So, but I've brushed up on my YouTube channel, so we'll see. Maybe there's something in the future. I don't know. I take requests apparently. So, all right. Well, without further ado, any of you who know me know that I've devoted years of my life to studying one particular poet. That is Jorie Graham. And I got a little obsessed with her while I was doing my first master's, and it was actually a piece of that work that caught the attention of everybody at BCFA, and publishing snippets of it here and there, my scholarship on that stuff. So, but I remember this poem. I was 2 years, just about 2 years, into my study of all of her poems. And I was really I was looking for the thing, because there's this thing with her poetry. There's this kernel of truth in all of her work, and I can see her mind just shaping this story, and nurturing it and growing it into the amazing collection that is Fast, which is, it's a lifetime achievement book for a poet. It's beautiful, and this is a poem from Fast. So, without further googly eyeing, this is Cryo, and I'm going to use the version of Cryo that came out in Crit, so that you guys can see the website. And along the right-hand side, you'll see an amazing piece of scholarship and an interview between Sarah Howe and Jorie Graham. Highly recommended as a poet to read that one too. Get your scholarship on. Alright. So this is Cryo by Jorie Graham. Let me see if I can blow it up just a little bit for you. There we go. Now they say you are ready for a long stilling voyage. It is further into nature. A life of make-believe. I have no idea what is retained. What is here is certainly not there. The bad news became apparent too late. The day became all one day and was done. We got rid of the calendar, the book of side effects, the weather, the fairy tales. We would like the monster back. We want the fight with the monster, his bright, sure nothingness back. He walked towards us firmly once. We were equipped with our long, sharp object, the what happens. We were provocative, that is for sure. But we tried to listen, to nurture. It suggested we forego proof. It suggested we try mimicry, empathy. The filigree of syntax wailed. It coursed out our throats as if we weren't even there, gentle then ungentle, burned out on persuasion for centuries. But hi, I have been having an interesting discussion with those who pass their lives on, hastily assembled, dimly aware of the reasons for their wanting to become inanimate, an entity no longer human, an interloper, a possible manifestation, an impersonal person, an impersonation, an apathy from both emotive and organic color, a form of leap, form loper rover lopen, to run away, proto-empathy, no memory, no entity, a leap of faith from one sort of being immaterial to another, a possible alien subjectivity, not idle, but at the furthest reaches, of empire, no song, downward, toward the stone terrace. You do not suffer, you do not lie in waiting, without a subject, the self a mere occasion for the swarming of responses. Oh, weariness, we can suspend, responses can suspend, letting certainty reach epigee, yes, would glance at me furtively, but then Hi, I narrate continuity. Not what is wanted, except absolutely. What is said in my absence is my absence. They complemented me. Consistencies, order, summaries, outcomes. No berries on that bush. Arranged terror. I see saints gathering, see enlarging grasps of order. Understand this as likeness is not. Visit the clinic. Experience swarm fragment. During his increasingly rare visits, we are left in the uncertain state, 196 below centigrade, has not yet experienced information death, can only begin after legal death. When? Motion to lose, grief suction cold, precise affronted damnation, cryo-preservation, preserve my brain information. This pain was bitter and sharp, this pain dried up all the lively spirits of flesh, bloodshed and pain dried within, blowing of the wind and cold coming from without, meet together in the sweet body, jittery of Christ, of. Now my no me comes round, my most silent me, too fine, exposed, figuring a stray completeness, not done but casting away all edges. Inside there is nothing, however small there is nothing, with its own hue void, ultimate, but not final, turning back on itself to find no self coming to the edge of the done, the said. I am sorry to want this, but it flows, turning so fast through what electromagnetic fields saying, I'll wake not, I'll with existence not exist, I'll nestle in unobtainable reality, anticipating beyond intellect, awaiting rain, diminished to where I can find nothing to give myself to. Everything is nestling in, unfounded, whirling through no transformation. At one sudden point I came to surrendering, sufficiently having split up and used up, but not all, nothing coming from anywhere. Time wraps. Glanced furtively around, becoming unhitched from the animal. Tried to frame our response. Our ending was nothing like, we are beholden to say. We are so beholden, we think. The shadow narrative has been scratched away, A blight, a damp, a leeching sees us coming. Yes, we know we are interlopers. Where did he go, she asks. The narrator, the thing, or someone else? No pathology found. Maybe just an aberrant causal loop. As in the next sentence, so we introduce the period. It is not coming back. Is in the sense absent while clinging to time. You might find yourself standing on a bridge looking upriver. You are clinging to the top of its milky white stairs. You need to push. That is artificial light. Have you ever known depth to be true? Here in this period of ludicrous attachments, you cannot close down meaning. You close down meaning. There are tiny machine sounds. How can it matter if it has meaning? The life of my illness, non-artificial intelligence. Are these the last words we say? Will we be talking about what we have just talked about? You put the pen down. It lies there without moving. The body is stiffened by something happening far away, though the curious bag inside beats like a heart still, like a line repeated, an opinion from the future, low, repeating some science, looking back at that prayer that was not received. And in this was brought to my mind this word that Christ said, I thrust. For I saw him dubile thrust, one bodily and the other ghostly, the body dried all along time, with wringing of the nails and the weight of the body, the skin and the flesh that seemed of the face and of the body, was small, rumpled with tawny color, like a dried board when it is aged, period of ludicrous cognition, suddenly in the next mode of sentience. Who is the he that cannot exist without him? Mechanical doll comment section woman of no reputation. Even this ATM requires interpretation. Impassable, broken, asked if she needed anything beyond the venom. The he of the next paragraph already hanging on to this, bloodless and pain dried within, blowing of the wind and the cold coming from without, met together in the sweet body of Christ. It was a dry, hard wind, wonder cold as to my sight, and pain following that he was bloodless, hanging up in the air as man hung a cloth to dry. Whew, that is a long one, and I wrote 65 pages of scholarship on Graham in that poem. It feels crazy when I say that out loud, but it is still my ultimate favorite poem. And I swear I did no justice reading it there. But I love, she's incorporating several voices into this poem. The first is the speaker. Then there is sort of like this, she talks about the know me that's more like a subconscious. And then there's the voice of Julian of Norwich that comes through talking about the symbolic nature of the crucifix. Because Julian of Norwich essentially survived an illness, a plague. And she says that, she stared at a cross, a crucifix on the wall, and thought about the divine nature of Christ's love. And she is actually the author of the divine nature of Christ, which is just phenomenal. But then, that's written down and passed down from generation to generation. And what I love about this poem is that it seems so disjointed, but that's because it's literally taking eons of voices and pulling them together into the space of one poem. And incorporating these sort of new voices of technology, right? That's the punctuation mark, the arrows, right? It almost functions like here's a search engine, here's, you know, the next best guess that it can make, the next best guess that it can make as it moves through these ideas, which I just think is phenomenal. And what an amazing way to incorporate not only, you know, incredible early scholarship, especially a woman scholar, you know, to a woman scholar, and then to pass that on to more women scholars. And you know, this is a poem about death. This is about, you know, the theme of cryopreservation is in there clearly through the title, and it's about sort of what makes it past our death, what makes it to the next generation. How do we maintain that? And you know, is it really us? Is it really a piece of us, or are we gone? So these very, very large, incredibly human questions. So, and I can see this video has run incredibly late. So I'm going to stop there because it feels like a good place to stop. Happy end of National Poetry Month. Thank you. Just thank you guys all. We're gonna make it through this. We're gonna keep on keeping on. And till next year's National Poetry Month. Love you guys. Take it easy.